Hello. I am getting ready for Luna-Terra's route. We left off, I think we did the first day. So we did both. Hi, Sess. We did both the chapter for LT with Saturn and LT with Pluto. And that was all I think that we covered. I don't think we dived into anything after that. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can make it through to the end of Luna-Terra's route. It shouldn't be that hard since there are some parts that we've read already and we're just getting to the choice points that are new. So I think I should be able to do it in a sitting. And then I'll decide what to do from there. I might put the game down for a bit to let everything sink in and play something else, and then maybe come back and see additional endings or additional side stuff. But for now, I mostly am just motivated because I really want to see what happens to Luna-Terra, since she's the character that I've gotten to know the least about with all of the betrayal decisions and things that I made. I'm very curious to see how the game will become even more complex once we know the full scope of her story. So let's dive into this. So I think we did the console conversation, but we haven't read the mail or looked at the communications yet. Okay, so we have two. John isn't here, but we have a Hallie message. Halamede 1, leaked data packet, second generation pilot candidate interviews. Let me rearrange stuff on my desk really quick. Why me? Well, because you're special. A special kind of child. All children are special. Huh. That's true, they are. I'm no more special than those children. We think you might be. Special how? You're the top of your class already at such a young age. We think that you might be able to do things that other children can't. My sister is better than me at all those things, and my Aunt Europa when she was my age. We think you might be special in a different sort of way. Can you look at the box in front of you? Okay. Pass your hand over the box. Okay. Nothing happened. We're using an instrument to measure something that is very, very small. But moving it, even so little that you cannot see it, would be very important. How do I do that? You should not think about it, just do it. I can't. I know you can. I can't. Your aunt and your sister could easily do as much. So you can do as much too. Oh. It moved. Did you get that? Yes, I saw it move. Literally saw it. Contact the director immediately. Memorial Foundation specialist girl who sucks. Oh no. I'm curious. I'm sure we're going to learn more about this story because Hallie is someone who's been referred to, but we haven't got to know too much about her from what I can remember. Unified Culture Theory. Pre-installed reference material. Memorial Foundation introductory literature. I love that. Hallie's all, I can't, I'm useless, right up until they're all, well, your aunt and your sister did better than this, and she immediately breaks the scale. Yeah, she was not going to have this, comparative bullshit. Unified culture theory is a brute-forcing defined solutions for the universe through the forcible elimination of all other possibilities. The theory is attractive to those who desire beautiful, simple, endlessly complex solution for the universe. In order to develop this theory, there needs to be a solution for the Nix eversion paradox, which demands that anything not human exists in the Everse. The most compelling current premise for unified culture theory under contemporary physical models involves a full integration of all available concepts, directed and established in such ways as to maximize benefit for humanity. This theory of everything speaks to the desire to know, understand, and master the universe, while also incorporating a premise of universal love. Happiness for everybody free, and let no one be left behind. Unlike tyrants of old that crushed alternate futures under their heels and only caused the existential enemy to blossom, such a unified theory would welcome and forgive all humanity and direct to benefit all things that are and that might yet be. Interesting. Hi, God Empress. John, how are you doing? You just missed us talking about Hallie's email earlier. Fascist propaganda is intro to lit. I know, right? Okay, let's do comms. Enjoying your mission's thrilling work, more than fighting the half-hearted troops left on Ares? Much, much more. I forgot what it was like to work this hard. I'm rusty. Are you unhappy with your progress? I don't know. Are you unhappy? I don't know. It's always been very hard to tell with you, though I'm not sure if I can answer that question better than you. I've known you since you were freshly assigned to the first pilot wave. You were so delicate. And you've only become more delicate even as you've become stronger. I didn't think you described me back then as delicate. I saw it very clearly, though the other executives thought you were a scrappy pain in the butt. You were just scared. There's no point. There's no point in pretending otherwise. You just see through it. I guess I haven't changed as much as I thought. Long ago, I saw a strong and delicate girl. I have worked hard to make you more and more of that. Rather than simply cultivating your strengths, understanding your weaknesses is needed to grow. Let me ask you again, and this time focus. Count backwards from 20. Remember a moment of comfort. I'll wait. Are you happy or unhappy? I don't know. Because I feel like I'm on the cusp of something. It's frightening. Yet it could be something amazing. That's a real feeling. Good girl. Are you blushing? Anyone would. I feel even more embarrassed than I did back then. That's an even better feeling to have. Hold on to that one. That's a weird conversation. Oh boy. Okay, let's do our missions. Luna-Terra, cancel the launch. There are new orders. Really? I thought they were very insistent about this mission, and it's a good idea, so I thought I'd do it. The new orders are Cradle's Grace's superweapon has contacted the base already. Send anyone except for Luna-Terra there immediately. Ah, I see. Well, prep the Mare Crisium for launch. Luna-Terra. Even I have to say something if you disobey an order right in front of my face. But you don't disagree, or you just stop me, instead of saying something. A certain degree of questioning orders from the top is allowed. Given who's in charge, obviously. Halamede is just a foolish princess. If Cradle's Graces is using that new weapon, that's all the more reason not to send randos who wouldn't stand a chance against it. You fundamentally misunderstand Memorial Foundation, Luna-Terra. Alamede leads the recovery effort because no one else is fit. Only that naive, conceited, foolish girl has the love required to bring humanity back to Earth. Naive, one-sided, and unself-aware love. Nevertheless, it is exactly the love that is required. It's for us to interpret that fundamental impulse in a way that will ensure strategic advantage. So I will ask you, does love motivate your actions? Or are you just that eager to find someone to shatter you in orbit? Your connection with that pilot, and don't think I don't know about it, or who she is, which is it? Guilt or love? You let me go if I say I need to see her to know? I would advise against it. Her love might be stronger than ours. It's possible. All the more reason you shouldn't get near it. Well, let me take that risk. Okay. What did I pick last time? I think I chose fight until we forgive each other, right? Because I didn't betray. Do not send my ex to meet up with the cooler, hotter princess. Really says a lot about Luna-Terra and how messed up she feels. Yeah. They tore each other apart last time, yeah. Okay, well, there will be no tearing apart. But that's not a guarantee it won't be really, really sad and hard to read. Okay. Smiley face. Both outcomes in this one are very good. Oh boy. I don't remember what I read anymore, so I feel like I'm in a reading mood, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read it anyway. The balance shifts because Luna-Terra didn't hesitate, neither did Pluto. Fourth planet from the sun, Aries, romantic red planet. It was the first planet the space colonization program wanted to make ours, and they wanted it to be so beautiful. Did they get their wish? It was a beautiful dream, but still a dream. By the time Earth had demanded the space program pull back, they were stuck, still halfway there after so many years. Yet getting halfway there got them something beautiful, even if it wasn't enough. Where life grows, and it doesn't grow most places, it's in a spring, yellow-green, that never could quite get to summer. Tenacious weeds spread all over the planet that will never be called Mars, and even they can barely breathe. Okay, got it. Thanks, John. Because I was looking at this, I was like, I don't remember reading this, so I should probably read right now. Only stubbornness keeps life on Aries, and they would not even be able to endure if Cradle's graces didn't patiently tend to them. They spew pollen uselessly into the air, and between them and the too thin atmosphere, breathing, where it's possible, is hard. The fate of the fourth planet from the sun, even prettier now, and just as useless to humans. Pluto has flown past the canyon she's concealed in 3 times already. It's been a perfect shot every time. At noon, even with the sun shining directly on her, the flowers and weeds and their pollen keep her hidden. Should Luna-Terra squeeze the trigger or not? And what else is Luna-Terra supposed to do? How can she dare to take that shot with Pluto looking so beautiful? How can she not? Why is she trembling like that? Does she know? No. Luna-Terra realizes she's the one trembling. If you can stop me, I'll believe in you. I'll give up on everything. But I know you trust me too much. Pluto said that. She might even be saying it right now, knowing that Luna-Terra has the perfect shot. If you're not sure if you're right, I'll be the one to test it. I believe we can have a home in space, and there's no way to bring that back to Earth. You believe we can bring home to Earth, and there's no way to have it in space. I believe in us. We'll figure it out. Yes, it's impossible for Luna-Terra to look at Pluto in the chronocula, big as a universe, and think it's better for her to not have that. For Luna-Terra to keep thinking, I'm freeing her from something terrible and bringing her home. So Luna-Terra fires. Before she has a chance to decide whether or not to fire, she pulls the trigger. Without considering, or having a chance to choose one way or another, her body seizes the opportunity, makes the decision for her, the one they agreed to, without doubt. Luna-Terra betray herself every time. Pluto's exposed left tidal reactor shudders and shakes. Oh, I should have seen that coming, shouldn't I? The resulting tidal resonance will be catastrophic unless she shuts both reactors off and reboots instantly. She does, of course, and worries about the ship and the whole world, and Luna-T doesn't hesitate, even though that's clearly the plan. The minutes she'll take rebooting will have her plunging into the ground, and maybe too damaged to power back on. And so, Luna-Terra dashes to catch her before that. Again, Luna-Terra is the last to know. She's doing it before she has decided if she should do it or not. A coward who cannot commit at heart, at least commits to not committing. Without thinking about how contradictory or ridiculous it is. Pluto's comms are off, so she doesn't have to yell at Luna-Terra about why this is so stupid, or how she needs to grow up, or do anything but fall and be secretly happy she's still charmingly stupid. The Mare Crisium looks very funny, trying to catch a ship this much bigger than her. Her engines flare, strain, start to break from trying the too slow her fall. Her wounds bleed freely. A tattered, tangled mess, falling down, too hard, crumples in the weeds of Ares, nestles at the canyon bottom. It may not be a livable planet, but it's a soft one. It's hard to breathe for very long, but it feels nice to lie in, ship or body. Sometimes it feels like nothing could be worth giving up a ship, but this isn't so bad. Luna-T. Luna-T, are you awake? Yeah. Everything hurts a lot. I gave you some painkillers. Do you need more? I can't fly on them. You're not gonna fly without them either, Luna-T. Your engines are melted. Oh, right. I thought I did something stupid, but I couldn't remember what it was. It was a breathtaking sequence of poor decisions. When I said I wouldn't be satisfied or forgive you until I fought you on Ares, I meant when I kicked your butt. Kicking your own butt doesn't count. As usual. Sorry. Do you want me to move? Why? Do you want to get up? Waking up with my head in your lap feels like you're rewarding me for shooting you down. You can be mad if you want. That's one thing, this is another. There's just nothing else to do with you. You did the right thing, or tried to. And then you did the right thing again, or tried to. You wanted to do the best thing for you and me, but you couldn't decide what it was. There's nothing I can say to that, and it's already done, so just lie there already. I might not get another chance, you know. You can hold so much. I'm in awe every time. You're the size of the universe. You see everything and everyone, and you hold all of it. Everything's precious. Everything's worthy of you. I'm not. I can't. I'm small. I'm small and scared, smaller and more scared than you. Don't say I'm not. Okay. I won't. Never again. I'm sorry. You're small. You're just you, after all. You have to mean it. You're huge to me, okay? That's okay. I should be. I hear everyone, and I can't ignore it. It feels like I'll die if I do. It hurts too bad. I listen to your voice more than any other. Your heart is more important to me. Isn't that proof I'm selfish too? But I'm going to fight with everything I have for those voices, even against you. I just know that no matter what, you're not going to get what we want. If I let myself slip, I'll trust in your future instead. I know we can't beat Memorial Foundation. So I can't afford to blame you. I can't do anything if I can't trust you. It's way easier to hate me. It's what normal people do. I love not giving you that satisfaction, Luna-T. Or you really should give up on me, ever being satisfied with happiness just for me. Sure. I know as well as you there's no welcome waiting for us on Earth. I don't know if we will be happy there, but I couldn't live there without, well, if you get a miracle, I won't fight that either. My heart isn't big, but if you ruin the Memorial Foundation, I'd forgive you. I mean, who wouldn't? I too want to be free of Earth. To be free of 9.8 m over s to the second hour. I'm just waiting. Who's going to win this time? Chat. I'm explaining the equation. Are you really sure? I think even that victory will be impossible. Even if we win it. But maybe. You actually have more faith than me. I think we might not make a happier world. But you can learn how to be happy anywhere. Even Earth. On Earth, we were tied down by the weight of the world. I won't go back to that, even if I go back to Earth. There are two ways to do that. Make a home where we set the rules. Or bring a new law of gravity back home. If only all of us were as precious and powerful as a planet. But I can take the shape the world requires of me. That's all we get. That's not true. For you, especially, it isn't true. You were the one who didn't let Earth's gravity choose your body. I wouldn't have been able to choose if you hadn't shown me. That's a victory they can't take back from us. Rescue will be here soon. You're almost a real adult, Luna-T. I wish I was as close as you. That was very sweet, even though they did still beat each other up. Okay, let's see. Okay, Luna-Terra shooting her down despite herself and then catching her despite herself. So, yeah, that's like a perfect encapsulation of Luna-Terra and Pluto's relationship. Shooting each other down but catching each other before they actually go down. You were the one who didn't let Earth's gravity choose your own. Yeah, that's a really good line. I really like that. Oh, it's so good. Okay, let's read some mail. Subject Origin, Declassified Records Leak. Author, Operations Commander Europa. My kids are idiots, and also they're not my kids, and also they're not kids anymore. Please stop calling them your kids when they are my students. They're not my children. I am not being pedantic. I am not doing it to avoid being attached. I'm already more attached than is best. Don't encourage it. They're grown-ups, and also fools. Mars is the most genius pilot, but she's just as much a fool as everyone else. She does nothing but cry and complain and win effortlessly like a real hero. If she was a boy, they would call her that, and you wouldn't be asking me who the best pilot is. You just know. Only in space would that girl be allowed to be a hero. She deserves her moment in the sun. She might win the war for us single-handedly. Anything else that isn't her story will just be a blip of fate off in the sky. Rest easy. She's going to win the day. When the others interfere, they're not going to steer the course of the future any more than a little bit to the left or right of the course that Mars is sailing. I am not going to interfere. Valuing their independence is important. They'll be adults soon, and then they won't be anyone's kids. Insist on the comparison, and it will become clear how far we are from fulfilling that role for them. For my part, I don't wish to forget that there are limits to what we can do, and who we can be. Though yes, as a matter of fact, I am tired of them calling me Dad. Mars and her big protag energy. If this was a shonen anime, Mars would 100% be a protagonist. Europa is such a... Secular Astrology Explained, Part 1. Achieved Message Retrieval, Pilot Mars. I don't know why you suddenly asked about this, and I'm not the person who knows anything about it, but sure, I guess. I learned all of this from Pluto, so you could just ask her? Too nervous, huh? I see right through you. Well, because I feel sorry for you, I'll tell you all about it. Venus, Luna-Terra, and Mars are the interpersonal distances. If Venus is the breath of the body and Mars is the blood, Luna-Terra is flesh and represents skin-to-skin distance. That's why it represents family. The Earth and the Moon are different, but they're parts of the same thing, a two-in-one. Certainly, the Moon also represents something different, but it's also part of us. When you think of it as a dark side, you forget that it's composed of your own same flesh. It's not your mirror, it's your back. Mars is the beneath the skin distance, and that's blood. But it's also, well, the ways that humans communicate not skin to skin, but beneath skin to beneath skin. Get it? Don't make me spell it out. That's the reason for fucking and fighting to feel really similar sometimes. Pluto said the other day, it's like you two only know that one language, and that's the only talking you ever do in it. The solar system maps out a human body, and by colonizing the planets, a greater human body will exist, with the sun as the inseparable totality of it all. That's the philosophical justification, but it's kind of romantic, right? Maybe it's kind of fake, though. Mars is such an eager little dork. Yeah, you can tell this is like one of Mars' special interests, and that she's just been waiting to talk about it. Okay, let's read our communications with Dad now. So I have to ask, how do you really feel about me coming back to Memorial Foundation? You were a loyal and efficient ace pilot for Memorial Foundation for the entire Cold War, against our alien and ultimately irrelevant existential threat from beyond the system. Then you were perfectly loyal to the pilots left adrift by the decommissioning of the pilot program and colonization project. Now, you're perfectly loyal to Memorial Foundation again. You haven't betrayed our side at all. That's a generous reading. You've betrayed plenty of love-struck pilots, but your political loyalty is impeccable. So even if Halimi doesn't trust or forgive you, I welcome your return. That's not going to be a problem. That she doesn't. Oh, she welcomes your return the most, but keep you on your toes. That one, I don't have any questions about. Keep your friends close and your exes closer. Except, if you're not still suspicious of me for betraying Memorial Foundation, how about her? Oh, that I'll be mad at both of you about for a very long time. Please don't worry about it. However, as you've both made each other suffer more than enough to make up for your youthful indiscretions. Honestly, the two of you hooking up to somehow get at me was the most hilarious part, as you ended up punishing each other more than I ever could have. Can we talk politics again? I think I get the picture already. That's not to say that the two of you don't still have a lot of lessons left to learn from the experience. Once I'm sure you've learned them, your punishment will be over. I'm suddenly very interested in hearing about factions again. Oh, on that note, I'm not as worried. Just remain true to what you really believe in, Luna-Terra. Except, does Luna-Terra know what that is? Is it a special interest, or is it just because she gets to be all smug and show off what a good little student she was for Pluto? I mean, it could be both. She definitely is someone who wants to show off and relishes in doing that, especially if she can show off to Luna-Terra. Alright, let's go have a chat with Saturn. Guard duty in Olympus City. Command is worried the Celestial Mechanics unit might try to escape while the fleet is launching using the cityscape as cover. Then they've just given up on catching them on Ares, if their only hope is them being that stupid. It's a ruined husk, and even Cradle's Graces isn't clinging to it, like they cling to even the faintest sign of life on Mars. Excuse me, Ares. Well, it's boring. Pointless work that no one wants to do, and it's gotta make me wonder if someone's actually mad at me. You let the prototype escape, Luna-Terra, and the most generous assumption is incompetence, which from you, they have a hard time buying. It's not fair. I'm plenty incompetent. They should know that by now. You are only incompetent in the ways you wish to be. That's an awfully profound way to call me lazy. If you were simply lazy, you wouldn't go out of your way to find so much trouble to get in. And that's the reason why this assignment is so disastrous as a punishment. Boring you is dangerous. I learned that very early on in your career. There's no way to make you sit still. Oh? Maybe I'll try it this time. There's this good sniper spot with a view of the whole city. I won't move from there. Why does it sound less like you're promising to behave and more like you're going to brag about how much trouble you can get in without even moving? Either way, they're sure to put me back on the front, right? Okay, so we have Saturn gets no-scoped by Luna-Terra, and Luna-Terra gets a point-blank encounter. This was so long ago that I don't remember what I picked. I want to say I did the point-blank encounter, but I don't know for sure. Do you happen to remember, Sess? Otherwise, I can go look through my VOD. No scope time. Alright, you got it. The balance shifts because Luna-Terra could hold still and Saturn couldn't. Correct for gravity. It's unsettlingly weak. Correct for the cold, blue starry daylight of the fragile Ares atmosphere. Sniping from the remains of the Capitol spire is like being just an eye and a trigger finger, a thrilling place for Luna-Terra to fight. Correct for wind, it's skittish and powerless. Correct for gravity, there's still too much of it. Correct for the nuisances and this infant planet that will never be. Skirting along the abandoned roads of the city that never was is like being an exposed nerve, a thrilling place for Saturn to fight. I see you. Luna-Terra squeezes the trigger for the 17th time. The cover couldn't protect String of Pearls from Luna-Terra's eyes, and it sure can't protect her from her trigger finger. Engage reactor. Initiate inertial control. The slug whips right by Saturn, and that's 7 times dodged. the 4 shrinking holes in her chassis, marching closer to the string of pearls heart. Mark what happens when she doesn't. Getting shot still sucks. Saturn isn't used to it. That was so close. It was really, really, really close. Tell me I'm getting better, right? No way, it's just luck. You've gone from getting hit all the time to getting hit half the time. That's better, but what you want is to be hit none of the time. Don't tell me what I want. Maybe I love being shot. You wouldn't be the first. Wow, weird. You must fight some really problematic people. Some pilots find interesting ways to pass the time. I kind of get the appeal. What else is there to do? If you didn't love getting shot so much, you wouldn't run around space shooting each other. If that's true, why'd you come here to fight? If that's true, why did you come here? There's nothing left to fight over on Ares for anyone. Give me one thing to do more fun than look demure and get shot at. Someone has to do the shooting. It tells me what position you favor, but it doesn't answer the question. I'm taking evasive maneuvers. If I dodge the next one, answer my question. I won't answer the first one, but I'll answer a different one. If you dodge. Saturn gets so quiet. She gets so still. Her heart is thumping. Her reactor is thrumming with resonance. It's obvious Luna-Terra is sniping her from the tower, the city's last and tallest building. But now suddenly she isn't so sure. She isn't sure if she knows where Luna-Terra is or if she knows anything about her at all. What did her face look like again? Hit. It's not that Saturn wasn't on the ready. She's baiting. She knows exactly what she's doing. Luna-Terra just guessed for the 1/2 second where Saturn wasn't ready and slipped her solid light bullet in that space. The shot lands right in her throat. For a moment, Saturn's just, I'm dead. But she's not. Then she hurts so bad she wants to die. But she's just mistaking the very different things the string of pearls feels instead of that. It's not really pain, but it's a feeling so overwhelming it shuts Saturn down like pain would. It's fascinating, full of information. Luna-Terra, you're not doing a very good job of convincing me to not try and get shot. I've heard that one before too. You sure are having fun. What makes you think that? Want to know how I know? When correcting for gravity, the impression you leave in space feels a little for a second like... Well, someone might say it's like an eye roll. I think it's kind of like a giggle too. Hi, King of Oceans. Good. Thanks for stopping by to say hello and good luck with your assignment. Maybe that counts as a hit. You don't win cat and mouse games by batting every time a head pokes out. Except somehow you do. You're good at making people not follow their own better instincts. You shouldn't be getting me to teach you to fight fair. You do so much better like this. Thank you. I don't fight fair because I have absolutely no idea how to fight. But this is why I hate you, Luna-Terra. You just don't get it. I want to beat you at something you're good at. You're really tough. Not your sniping, which can't stop me at all, but how you're totally impenetrable. You're doing something tricky. What are you doing? It's still my question, my hit. It's the rules. Why are you here? Firstly, because I refuse to ever be bored, just like you. Secondly, wiping that smug expression off your face is my deepest desire. So teach me how to weave through your fire and sink my claws in you. What's the third reason? Not telling. I already gave you one free. Nice dodge. My question then. Dodge a real one first. Luna-Terra fires, and Saturn leaps forward, directly into it. The bullet misses. Her tail sparks, and she thrusts through the atmosphere. How's that? Good work. But you have to keep it up. Luna-Terra lands a bullet straight through her legs, and Saturn crumples. But the moment her limbs heal, Saturn leaps again. She's ready for the next bullet, but not the one behind it. But that one's a clean shot, right through her, no stopping power at all, and she leaps through again and is gone in the rubble before Luna-Terra can land another shot. Is that more dodges or more hits? Counterpoint. Here's my opinion on getting shot so far. It fills my brain with overwhelming information and barely stops me from doing anything at all because I'm in control of an impossible space war machine. So can you actually say you've really hit me? Flawed argument. Really disappointing. And I was expecting a lot better. Am I losing? Can I ever lose? No matter how much you shoot me? I don't think so. I don't actually think so. This machine is never going to lose. You can pin me down. You might be so much better than me. I couldn't beat you in a million years, but I will keep trying and beat you with dumb luck. Maybe that's true. You never hit me. Why are you here? Did you know that there's a theory that ship selves can't actually be destroyed? You can break as much of them as you want, but the gravity engine will always pull it back into shape. As long as you're sufficiently tenacious, you can survive anything and try again until you get it right. So you do get what this machine is for. My least favorite person in the world came up with that theory, and this is the ship's self to test it, so naturally I know all about it. But it's true, no one has died. That's why they get to say that there's still no war in space. Dodging my question again? But in practice, wrecking a ship's self until both the pilot and the ship give up is indistinguishable. Because you can become so broken, continuing is impossible. Even if they can't kill you, you can be changed. Think you can do that to me? Or is that what you want to have happen to you? I have. To people who have much more fun with this than you do. This don't call it all a war if nothing but play fighting. All it takes is someone not playing along to ruin it all. A solid light slug passes so close to Saturn's head, the heat chars her face black. But it's not a hit. She incremented to the left, 0.05 seconds before impact. Oh, you are getting better. It's definitely my question now. I'm still answering. The theory has not been disproven. It's more than likely true. But this is something you should know first. Your body can't be killed or destroyed, but it can be changed. When you're hit, truly hit, you're bent into a different kind of shape, and through that, you can change. I think you should ask yourself if you're ready for that before you say you want to play with me for real. Speaking from experience, about that always bleeding wound on your ship self, it's not always a bad thing to change. Last one. If you can't dodge this, I don't think you're ready. Once again, Saturn feels Luna-Terra slipping away. She's not here. She's not anywhere. She never was. Once again, it's my hit. Electricity explodes from the target point and connects back to the origin. It starts from where Luna-Terra is, and when it connects back to Saturn, fast as light, the course correction defines the pathway retroactively. Wow. I'm an idiot. This is great. You're not supposed to be ecstatic about someone getting the best of you. That's my move. Sorry. But I was condescending before. Next time we fight, it'll be for real. What if I don't want to fight? Then that'll be real too. Very interesting. They have such a different dynamic than Pluto and Luna-Terra have. This one's like more playful, more like less. It's less intense because they don't have as much history with each other. Pluto pulling at being more honest and direct, Saturn pulling at not being so gloomy and pessimistic. Yeah. They end up pulling like different parts of Luna-Terra out as a result too, which is interesting. Receiving report. Provisional acceptance of pilot mission complete. Incoming alert all Memorial Foundation troops. Abandon Ares frontline. All units immediately rendezvous with main fleet at the Pilot Academy Lagrange colony on the way to Celestial Mechanics moon base. Generating new assignments. Provisional assignment. Special operations mission. Secure Lagrange colony as possible launch point for Celestial Mechanics hit-and-run tactics. Provisional assignment. Special operations mission. Destruction of obsolete Academy research technology before it falls into the hands of Cradle's Graces. Provisional assignments will reduce your penalty status. Indicate you have understood new orders. Why? Ready for gravitational catapult. Prepare launch to Lagrange point 5. Vast oversimplification, but still, they're both trying to make Luna-Terra more herself instead of like, she's been very, I mean, in her conversations with Europa, I mean, she just kept saying, like, I don't know, like, just checking out of life, checking out of her own emotions. Even Europa was like, you know, these feelings of, like, embarrassment and stuff, like, they're at least a feeling, and you should hold on to that, even if it's not, like, a good feeling. And it was a weird conversation, but she does have a point about Luna-Terra getting out of this, like, very apathetic headspace, and both Pluto and Saturn, whether intentionally or not, are getting Luna-Terra to connect with her emotions and with not necessarily having a purpose, but at least, like, of choosing action instead of just going along with directive orders. Alright, let's read mail. Oh, more from Mars, yay. I don't know what role Luna-Terra plays for Saturn, though, other than someone Saturn really wants to figure out and have fun with, but her role for Pluto feels very much, you also matter, please, I think the world of you. Yeah, it's much, much more intense relationship with Pluto. Like, there's intention and drama and love and history there, whereas with Saturn, it feels more like, I guess it's kind of like resistance, because she's been giving these orders to take Saturn down, and she doesn't really have any reason to protect Saturn. Like, she could just take her out, but she doesn't, and I find that really interesting. So it's kind of like a tiny mutual rebellion between the two of them. Europa cares a lot about Luna-Terra. Yeah, she just shows it very differently from Mercury or Mars, but she does very much care. Secular Astrology Explained Part 2. Achieved Message Retrieval, Pilot Mars. I only did this because you asked, okay? I warned you. This is dorky stuff. The ancient roots of it are pretty dubious, in case you were wondering. I think most of it is just made up. I mean, yes, I know that it's all made up, but not even made up by some wise man 1,000 years ago. It's made up by some dude in California. Anyways, what the dude from California does is he organizes the parts of the body into the parts of the mind and the spirit. And he says that what you should do is think about your body not as a body, but as a tool for relating to other people. I know that they draw them on a body, but it's like, Don't think of them as actual body parts. It's the way that you communicate. So this is a chart, might help. I think the point of it, in a way, is to remember that these are all parts of you, but also parts of other people, and you have ways of communication between each other using them. People always ask me for their charts because they want to be flattered about what they're good at, but that's not the point. You need to know where you have trouble too. I looked at mine so much right before we broke up, like it didn't any good, but I'm so weak when it comes to Venus. That's the distance of breath, which means ability to read the atmosphere and talking, the way that communicate through the breath. You're bad at Venus. That doesn't mean you're bad with words, but you're bad at receiving words. You don't hear them. Or you don't feed other people the words they need to live. Well, according to your chart, you're bad at that too. So I hope it helps. The 3 genders: trauma bonding, senpai, kohai, teacher, student. Also, I find it kind of funny that Mars is like, oh, it was made up by some dude in California. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but every character sounds like they're from California because I'm the one reading it. Sorry, Mars. Diegetic typos. Pilot Hallie Mead Annual Report. Second Generation Pilot Program Declassified. Pilot Assessment Reports. Dr. Nix. She's not coming out of her room. Refuses to pilot. Figures the most well-behaved of all Generation 2 pilots would have a tantrum like a storm when it finally came. Do you expect me to know what to do about it? Yes. It's really your problem, though, isn't it? Don't start. I am begging. Fine. That's the big problem, then. She'll get over it. Pumpkin. Is she upset? Pumpkin, I can't see. I'm reading a very important email here. No, Toffee. Why are you both coming out? Okay, I'm gonna have to wait for my cat to sit down. Yay, thank you. That helps. Okay. She'll get over it. Where were we? What's the big problem then? She'll get over it. Is she upset about her sister? Of course she is, but not the reason I thought. What did you think? That she missed her. Hilarious. And what's the actual reason? She won't accept a hand-me-down. The low Solsi? She won't pilot it? She won't pilot the perfect second-generation machine because it was made for her sister? She wants her own machine. She's ridiculous. She said it would be fine if she died. But if it's just because she flaked out and got bored with space and left her problem in Hallie Mead's lap, she won't do it. Are siblings really this petty and mean? Stop laughing and help. Oh, Nyx, you're so confused about these relationships. I love Nyx here. A little bit humanizing. Oh no, she really does not have experience with raising kids for real. Only child Nyx is so good. Do we get along better or worse than back then? Let's talk about something else. Oh, is it really so bad these days? We don't get along because we're too much like each other. We used to be so different. What happened? I got older, learned a lot. That's enough to make me more than like you. You're not giving me enough credit. Really. Do you think I'd blame you for being too good at teaching me the same lessons that made you who you are? Well, I'd always hoped. I'd blame you if I felt like it. There's nothing to blame you for. Nothing you warned me about turned out like you said, so I stopped paying attention to any of your advice. I thought I was too smart for the rest. So it's just a coincidence we ended up like each other. I never minded your lessons. Are you sure? I was a harsh teacher. Are you really glad for it? I am happy for everything I learned. Not for everything you taught me. I mean, it wasn't like you were wrong. Everything you said would happen, happened. But none of it happened like you said it would. If I followed your advice to the letter, It wouldn't have helped me at all. It was all just different enough. So I came up with my own answers. It wasn't until I looked back on them that I realized it was exactly what you would have done. Fair, I suppose. I should count that as success for me. But also due to your effort for you. That's just what I wanted, though. I certainly never wanted a carbon copy of myself. I wanted you to improve on what you'd been handed. Did you think you did a good job? Shouldn't you be asking yourself that question since you're the one in charge of the education? Was afraid you'd say that. Don't come to me for answers now, of all times. Well, at least there's plenty of time left for me to turn out right in the end. Europa may be demonstrating just a bit of doubt about how badly they fucked up these kids. Probably especially after the conversation with Dr. Nix and the previous email about not calling them kids. Maybe she's finally doing some reflection. Maybe. Alright. You know what? Actually, I want to start with Saturn, since the Pluto ones have been so much more emotional. I think I'm going to flip with the order that I do them in. Whether that makes sense or not. Although it also feels very much like her passing the mantle a bit, hoping that LT's generation and younger will do better than hers did. That's a much more hopeful take on it, and I would hope that for Europa's character, to do some self-reflection and think, if we're doing this for the future, then we would hope that it would become better than the way that it was now. Are we boring you, Pumpkin? That you're yawning over here? Come on, Europa. It's weird when you don't order me. Oh wait, this is LT. Why am I reading it like Europa? Come on, Europa. It's weird when you won't order me. Can't you see I'm hesitating? Show some politeness. It's weird to see you hesitate. You don't do it. Then stop making it more weird. If you please, let a woman be weird for once. I have no problems returning to the colony. I wouldn't have thought you would have more hang-ups than me. You have no regrets? No pain? At any of your training or your service in the war? About anything that happened there? About the people you met there? I don't have any problems returning to the Lagrange colony for this mission. The academy where you shaped us all. No, I'm happy to put it to rest. I was a real idiot, so I don't mind seeing it trashed. Or trashing it a little more to stop the Celestial Mechanics pilot from taking back the Lagrange reactor. Ah, you've taken an interest in Saturn. Professionally, she's a dangerous enemy. She was in Iapetus' division, but she was, yes, very clever. The Lagrange reactor is a worthless shard of nostalgia. Iapetus must be truly egomaniacal to send that prototype unit after it. That's a bad sign. The worst fights always happen over something worthless. It's certainly a trap, but you know that. It's still a chance to get one over him and stop that pilot, if you're prepared to be serious. I'm always serious. Are you serious enough to stop playing? Not playing. Whether you are serious or playing isn't a matter of how you feel about it. It's a matter of whether you're committed or not. Or if you're playing because you simply can't decide. You can't play forever. I told you. I still haven't decided. I'm not closing off the future until the last moment. Decide what you want about the future when the future comes. But you will never move from this point if you don't decide how you feel about that pilot. Europa. Oh dear. Are you feeling guilty again? Well, that's to be expected. I don't mind if you lose against that one. Or win. Just choose, right? You don't have to tell me. I know what happens if I don't. Okay. I think I did fight for real in a fun way because I couldn't resist it. The ones with all the quotation marks on it. Europa may be demonstrating just a bit of... Okay, we read that already. Although, God forbid women do anything. So we are going with this one, correct? Fight for real in a fun way. Yes. Toffee, you need to back up, sweetie. Thank you. I'm like squished in one corner of my desk because my cat took the rest of it. Not long ago, the Academy Gardens were beautiful and they were warm. Now they are colder than space because no feeling is as cold as wet is, not even vacuum. Under the stability of artificial gravity, Lagrange colony was as Earth as Earth. Maybe even a little bit more. In being more Earth than Earth was, it was also less. And so Memorial Foundation Existential Safety ordered it abandoned first when the space program was decommissioned. Not everyone agreed. And then there was a fight. And then the colony became like this, ruined in a way only human things can be ruined. The reactor was shattered, and with it all possibility for life and culture. Yet still, some of it lingers. Moss grows. Objects gather. Sometimes there are whispers, tidal memories etched into space-time by the humans who spent too short a time there. True space is more of a numb feeling. It's the cold of nothing, and it feels like nothing too. I'm not so lost in nostalgia I can't tell when I'm not alone. And I know I'm not alone, so say something. So you did come. You're always close by. You're always hiding something. And you're always just out of reach. Even though I've seen your face, Pumpkin. Pumpkin wants my microphone, so I'm gonna have to pause and try to get her somewhere else so I can keep reading. Okay, you might hear them in the background because I bribed them with food. Hopefully she will let me have my space back. Even though I've seen your face, I feel like I haven't. Even though I've shot you through the heart, it feels like I never touched you. Maybe you're just dense, Luna-Terra. I felt those plenty. I should say that about you, in fact. Luna-Terra, maybe you're the one who never came close enough to touch me. Am I just that good, or are you holding back? You're slippery. And you've gotten better, too. What makes you say that? I don't already know where you are this time. I must have been doing pretty awful before then. No, you weren't. But it's still unbelievable that you've gotten so good in such a short amount of time. So I don't believe it. There's no hiding how much I suck, huh? No, the opposite. There's no way you weren't this good before. It's not true. You have definitely been trained, haven't you? I never thought other pilots. Did you fight something else? That doesn't count. It was nothing but training, and then nothing. The existential threat was never real. It was a trick of the light, and our weapons pierced it with 100% accuracy every time, and no one was ever hurt, and it never became real enough to fight. That's true. It's also true that this isn't a real fight either. You were right when you called it play fighting. These machines weren't ever designed with practicality in mind. They simply aren't made with the intention to kill. I've read plenty of Dr. Nix. I don't need the lecture. And you're not even explaining it right. They did make ship selves that would not allow for death and war. Dr. Nix just didn't want an end to conflict because that's silly. You can't be human without it. Death defeats the purpose of conflict, which is how humans signal the fundamental transformation of human conflict from suffering into love. If you know it, explain it the right way. If you knew Dr. Nix, you might have a harder time taking it seriously. I'm not part of Cradle's Graces for a reason, you know. I'm not that dumb. Not that I don't get the appeal of wanting to be that dumb. Just kidding. No, I do too. Pluto has that effect, doesn't she? Yeah, I feel dumb every time. She really makes you want to believe with your whole heart, even if you never really quite can. And neither can she, all the way through. She just tries very hard. Luna-Terra, are you really here? To stop me from taking a worthless artifact to fall into an obvious trap for another chance at stopping me once and for all? To rack up the glory and take all the errant children home from Memorial Foundation? To mess me up? Or to make out with me? Saturn feels herself growing in Luna-Terra's eyes, suddenly, clearly seen. Wasn't I just perfectly clear? What's this ship body for, anyway? I'm here to communicate. Ha! Luna-Terra, you're really shallow and kind of dumb. I'm honest. Finally. You're lucky that's enough. Are you ready for that, though? I don't think you're ready. Well, I think I'm ready. Want me to check? I won't give an inch. Not like you girls. I'm not a cosmic glow of energy in the dark. Still, I'm metal and I'm sharp. You really think I'm not like that too? But I'm already behind you. It's a double lie. Because the movement is to her left, but Saturn is coming from behind. LT's instincts are too good for her to not twitch fire to her left, even as she realizes it's just bullshit. But then there's nothing. The feeling of being so close to being struck that she can't tell if she was or not. Are you really not like us, girls? I'm nothing special, like I said. But you dodged it. It wasn't real. Nothing to dodge. Obviously. That's the part that's hard. I'm fighting for real. Just like you wanted. You're the one who wants more. Fine. Dodge this. Luna-Terra's vision fills with pink, the neuroelectron toxin melting into her skin. It feels hallucinatory, weird, stubborn, aggressive, vulnerable, just like Saturn. In the poison electric haze, Luna-Terra feels a little like Saturn. Got you. Like being wrong sometimes, you know? I like not being Memorial Foundation's perfect ace. Doesn't seem to really suit you, if I'm being perfectly honest. Neither does playing by the rules. If ship selves don't play by the rules when you're fighting, it stops looking like fighting. Oh yeah? What does it start looking like? Also, that's not where I am. Liar. Are you willing to bet on it? Yeah. Then go. Stakes of hard light are fine for flirting. That's not what this is. The Maricrisium spear, made from reconciling the earth and the moon, is meant to be used up close. It's the distance where skin touches skin, the obligation that humans have for other humans, hard like gravity and warm like light. If no one has been worse at wielding that duty than Luna-Terra, she's all the more the one who should be carrying that weight. Saturn only realizes after, when the lightness and heaviness starts to lift, that it had hit her too. Wow, I didn't think it was even possible to have a gravity less suited to you, let alone for you to be so good at using it. I really hate being in charge, actually. and I'm bad at it too. But sometimes you're the only one left who can do it. Even if you hate it and it's totally self-destructive, especially then. Sometimes I think, why do we have to fight anymore? Let's just do this obscene other thing, the thing that fighting could be. And then you say something like that, and I want to fight you so bad. You wouldn't get it. You're hilarious. It makes me want to see you squirm. Like in a nice way, though. You can try. What? It's just funny. I love it when you play cool. 'Cause you're not. Let's communicate aggressively. That's what humans do. Sure. I've already given up on that worthless reactor. They're never gonna scold me enough to make me regret this. Okay, I love that Saturn's actually a huge fucking nerd. I've read the theory, also you're wrong, and here's how. Not that I don't get the appeal of wanting to be that dumb, and Saturn pushing back on Luna-T separating herself out. It's such an interesting conversation, because of everything that we talked about earlier with there being weird stakes involved in Saturn and Luna-Terra's conversations with each other, since they don't have that much history, they don't have an obligation to one another, they don't even necessarily understand each other. Like, they're coming into these missions from such different spaces, but the more they talk with each other, the more it feels like they're not starting, it's not even that they're starting to relate to each other more so than it is that they're like being pulled out of this space that they're so familiar with, that it's like a defamiliarizing with themselves and the things that they know true about themselves or have assumed true about themselves. I don't know. It's very different from all of the other pairings that we've seen. Even with Saturn and Luna-Terra, with the other options that I chose, you're just getting a very different impression on Luna-Terra. I'm going to save just in case. So it's been a while. And let's read some mail. Some more from Dr. Nix. Regarding Mecha 1 Maricrisium, ship self-design notes. Dr. Nix. In a ship self, you don't have to worry about dying. Not in the same sort of way. A ship self, you know, isn't even a weapon. It's a body for living and traveling in space, and it is equipped for doing the sort of things that humans need to do. Like fighting. The ship self, which lets you express like it's your own body, better than your own body, is a machine that's for falling in love and having fights. It's formed to literally suit us. It bears only the most abstract resemblance to something designed to kill another human being. The most efficient possible form for ending lives as quickly as possible wouldn't look anything like a human. And that's why Europa designed them from a child's toy. The ship self isn't the perfect form for war. It's a form that by nature turns war into something else. Part of this is due to humanity's relative weakness in space, separated from the origin of our gravity. Even with the power of a tidal reactor, we've barely come close to developing a ship self with gravitational and metacultural authority equivalent to a human being's on Earth. While humans on Earth need to devote most of this authority to keeping their shape, identity, and differentiation from other humans, a ship self is less authoritative even than this, though in space, they have far fewer restrictions than humans on Earth. If a ship self were to make planetfall, it would be crushed under human pressure and rendered lifeless. I think in Saturn's case, we got a little glimpse that she has some Neptune in her, that she actually knows how to do everything right and is choosing to play a different role and fuck things up in very deliberate ways. Yeah, like if you hadn't played Saturn's root at the beginning, you wouldn't know as much about just how rebellious she's being and how she's not tied to celestial mechanics and how she's doing her own thing and has her own goals. You get just the tiniest bit of that information in her interactions with Luna-Terra to show that she's an agent in chaos but has something that is driving her still. Europa was the one to make the Gundams mean so much. Okay, Iapetus. Evaluation. Memorial Foundation Executive Committee Minutes. Author, Operations Decommission Chair, Europa. No, it's gratifying to know you share my suspicions as well, as I understand that is the purpose of this committee to prepare for any eventuality. That this particular possibility hadn't crossed your minds was beginning to worry me. Oh, I'm no less worried now, but you're asking how to deal with Iapetus. That sense of superiority he has is not a weakness. It is truly dangerous, not just unpleasant. If he seems gracious or forgiving about a loss, it's only because he is utterly confident he will eventually be able to surpass you. But he's a realistic man. He will find the easiest route. Merely coming out on top in the end is enough. He wouldn't consider the quality of how he got there. In fact, it would reinforce his sense of superiority to know he surpassed you without having worked as hard as you did. He's shockingly good at predicting others, except for the moments in which he has wildly underestimated one. These fascinate me in particular. He can be so uncanny when it comes to gleaning specifics from trivial behavior, and then he is blindsided by the most obvious conclusions. His lack of respect for inferiority. His lack of respect for interiority is quite stunning. His win rate without having it should appall anyone with a general respect for human beings. I mean, and it is true. He does not care about somebody's individual personhood. He has so deeply abstracted human beings from who they are internally. What is the moon drop, Luna-Terra? Same. Halamede says it was something you used to talk about. Oh. Yeah. We were thinking about crashing the moon into the Earth. Literally? Yeah. That too in the end. The goal of the space program used to be to make all of the solar system figuratively equivalent to Earth. When humans touch it, it becomes ours. That's why we use the Greek words to identify the physical bodies of space and the Roman to represent our understanding and incorporation of it. We were being silly, taking a metaphor way too literally and way too far, joking about crushing the solar system together. It would make sense to return it. It would be nice and neat. Killing absolutely everyone. Yeah. It was a horrible thought I shared with Halamede. She hated it. She kept on arguing about it with me. The Earth looks so fragile and small here, and the moon looks so big. It's probably why. It was a bad joke. She never thought it was funny. Good. She is very perceptive when it comes to that. I am surprised always that people can find that self-destructive streak of yours harmless or imperceptible. I'm glad she didn't. I'm surprised you kept me around, given that. Should I have given up? Is that even a question? You should have followed your instincts. You appear to be misunderstanding. I take my work very seriously. As a leader, a woman as a pilot, as part of the Memorial Foundation. You know that there are very real things Memorial Foundation believes in, and I believe in them too. Yeah. In seeking to bring all people together, however, there are choices that have to be made. Should we cut the world to fit its people, or the people to fit its world? That is what we struggle with the most. Cut does not have to be a bad thing. It can be what's right for you or for the world. Making space for what exists without allowing it to be erased. Those the world abandons die, which is unacceptable. Or they become another world, which is also unacceptable. Kind of violence. Like smashing the earth into the moon, hoping for togetherness, and killing everyone instead. We didn't find the right solution, but at least we knew which one was wrong. That was good. Oh, right, that time I was joking about mass murder. I mean, these are just things that people do in school, right? Okay. So we're coming up here now. You're quiet, Europa. What's wrong? Is that unusual? Sometimes. But you said I have a briefing for you 5 minutes ago. Aha. It seems I lost track of time again. But don't you already know what the mission is? Close the lens, prevent Cradle's Graces from opening it further. For the purpose of... who knows? Memorial Foundation on the ground wants it done. It was the observation device for existential threats. But, in the end, we never knew if what we were seeing was what there was, or if we, the observers, were just seeing what we wanted to see. When it became clear the Celestial Mechanics had been pushing development in the direction of things that they did not want themselves understand, we chose to destroy the colony. Later works of the space colony era showed signs of an art and design movement potentially hazardous and implicitly treacherous to the human race, but very lovely. I wish we hadn't caught on so quick. Memorial Foundation on Earth would be loath to admit it, but it's possible it did and does in fact work in one or more ways. Cast it all in a new light, doesn't it? I didn't expect you to feel so nostalgic about it. I have some happy memories of the Academy, don't you? Yes. Some. But I'd rather move forward, in any way at all, than keep dwelling. That's always a virtue, if you have learned from it. And you're not just trying to forget. Keep your advice to the mission, and not to me. Well, I only have an interest in the success of one of these two things. Okay, let's see. And chat. This is John's favorite mission. It's so funny and interesting that they're like, did we build a telescope or did we build a projector? Because projection and because telescopes use mirrors. Not quite being the perfect loyal live there, Europa. Okay, so we have the gate collapses in nostalgia and disaster, and the sort of fight you don't need a robot for. So which one's your favorite? John, where are we going? Because I have bad memory right now. The gate collapses. I remember this was a choice that I had difficulty picking. I was like, oh no, which one do I go with? Alright. Let me get in a good stretch before reading. It all goes wrong almost immediately. They both should have known better. The observatory looked small from the Academy gardens, but up close, it's big enough to lose the two of them in it. A telescope of a certain kind, for observing a threat that was entirely existential, and possibly not real, and maybe a weapon too. Maybe a weapon that worked so well it destroyed humanity's enemies before we could even prove they were there. Now even the intellectual curiosity isn't worth keeping it open. There's too many enemies, real and existential on Earth, to worry about ones elsewhere. The mission wouldn't have become such a disaster so quickly if the two of them had just fought face to face. If they hadn't seemed a little awkward still after Ares. If there wasn't still so much past to fight. The one known and guaranteed function of the observatory and its lens that sharpens gravity into a laser-sharp gaze is it brings time to you before you're ready for it. Luna-Terra knew she'd never be able to stop Pluto if she saw her face to face, so she went directly to close the observatory's lens. Pluto knew she wouldn't be able to stop her face to face, so she forced the eye to stay open with gravity alone, rather than confront her. A stubborn, indirect fight, like two children pulling on a toy until they tear it in half. And that's what they did. Push, pull, tug, until the iris cracked, contracted, stalled, ground to a halt, exceeded its limits, and shattered and collapsed. Even without the gravity of the colony's tidal reactor, there's enough gravity to, when condensed in a single point, cause disaster. Move, Pluto. We have to get out right now. Luna T, you idiot. Stubborn jerk. Mars was right about you. I told you I wouldn't budge. Why did you call my bluff like that? You're right. I'm an idiot. It's my problem and it's all my fault, so move. My cores are desynchronizing. The gravity quake is destabilizing their tidal resonance, you jerk, so I can't move. Why did you keep pushing, knowing it was going to happen? I'm more stubborn than you, always. No, not having it. You already said everything is your fault, so that is now true forever, until the end of time, which this gravity quake is probably going to take us to. Fine. I'll place my reactor in resonance with yours to stabilize, then max thrust, and we'll get out of here. There's no way your ship has enough power to keep up. Then leave me. No. You need to live so I can keep yelling at you. Don't even think about not leaving with me. Then let's do what I said in the first place. Get out of the observatory before it swallows us. Have you ever been in the epicenter of a gravity quake? Maybe it'll be fine. Don't you dare let me take that. Don't you dare let that make you feel better. It shouldn't. The iris is shuddering and shattering and sparking. The tidal forces rock through them. Living in space means not having to know which way is up. But now they can't even tell when is up. Down and up, left and right are everywhere and nowhere, and the exit of the closing eye is forever out of reach of space and time. Where are you going? That's upside backwards. I can't steer. How can you? Here, fine. I'll guide you. Hold on. The pulses that already happened. It's about to happen. It's happening right now. It might happen. It's continuing to happen. Luna T, calm down. You know better than to be paralyzed by linear time like that. Just do it. Whatever it happens to be, whenever it comes up. Forget the tense. If you're about to do it, you'll do it. If you've done it, it's done, and already have done it if you can't. So what's next? It's always the future in space. That's the point of coming to space. You go there when you want to be in the future now. It is the world of will be and maybe to be. Never is or was, reaching but never grasping. A future severed from the present that causes it. Light floods from the iris of the lens. Then it shuts. Then it shuts again. Many infinities to come. I'm Pluto. What's your name? It's Luna-Terra. I'm assigned to protect you. You're sweet, but so sad. I'm happy to meet you. When I'm so happy, you seem sad. Why is that? Oh, no, sorry, that's super annoying. Dr. Nix keeps telling me people think it's rude when you just read the story off them instead of asking them first. You're not supposed to be able to do that to me. Oh, no, sorry. I'm excited, but do happy things make you sad? Sometimes a little. I'm glad you're having fun, at least. I'll make sure you have fun too. I can share being happy. That's the function of love. Do you love me? Yeah, you get it. Love makes the universe work. Do you know physics? You don't have to be jealous of me. You know everything I was given. You deserve that too. I'll cut your old dead name out of the story, just like I did for me. Focus, Luna-Terra. You have to be faster than that. You have to feel. Trust your instincts. Cut through the edges of the possibility space. Luna-T, it's okay. It's hard, but you don't have to cry. There's lots of us here. We can beat them together. I don't know what to do. What they want is impossible. But I want it too. Why can't I just make it happen? I can see everyone's desires. But I just can't make it all fit. Why can't I forgive them? Why can't this work? They won't anyone help me. If only I was bigger. But I'm messing it all up. If only I wasn't here. You're part of it. Don't erase yourself from the equation. You're the universe. They hate us. They'll never be happy in a universe where you're happy too. So let's run. If they don't want us to be part of humanity, we don't need their cradle either. They're considering escalation of the conflict. Memorial Foundation wants to keep it an existential disagreement. But Earth wants to make it a military. I guess we weren't human enough to be wanted on Earth. We're human enough to be dealt with the way that humans do. The better we do against Memorial Foundation, the more it pushes them to write us off as a lost cause. Prevent the complications we'll cause up here by killing us. You were so hard on them before. Forgiving your enemies is good. It's cruel to take us back. But they're trying to protect us. And they're the only ones who understand how hard it is. We knew we couldn't escape Earth's gravity. I guess they know it too. That it's a war with no point. They don't even have to worry. Is the chance worth it? I don't know. Where would you bet? On them. You should go. No. Not without you. No, dummy. Go so you can save me if I mess it up. And I'll stay in case you do. I don't trust them. But I trust you. Whichever of us is right will deliver the other the future. Light blows through the iris, fragments, and the universe exists again. A place and a time. Clinging to each other in that place are Pluto and Luna-Terra, touching to remember they're alive, broken, but alive. Pluto, are you okay? Of course not. We almost were swallowed up by time and space, and I almost lost you again. And I had to go through it all again. Everything. Me too. It was hard. It was so hard. But we did it. We messed up. There's no fixing it. But who cares? You're still here. I'll still fight you. To the end. But just so I can know it's for real. So you can stay like this. For a little. If you want to. Yeah. I think that's the closest I've got to crying while on the street. That was so good. But also so deeply sad. Okay, let's see. What was I missing? Of course, baby Pluto is very, very cute. Hi, nice to meet you. You love me. No boundaries, no filter. The subtext becomes text. Yes, that was really good. They'll never be happy in a universe where you're happy too. Oh. Wanting to save each other so much. Oh, yeah, it's so good. That might be my favorite chapter too. It's hard to pick one, and I'm not finished yet. I still have a few to read, but oh, that really hit me in the feels. I think I'll probably reread it later and then cry. Receiving report. Report data unverifiable. Awaiting manual acceptance. Report accepted. Damage to Lagrange colony indicates most likely fulfillment of duties. Incoming alert. All Memorial Foundation troops. Prepare for landing on Moonbase. Alert. Cradle's Graces and Celestial Mechanics troops have seized control of the gravity well. We must prepare for the confrontation we have always feared, but there's still hope. We will bring everyone home, safe. We have Earth on our side. We will be prepared. Generating new assignments. Assignment. Scouting mission. Verify status of Earth-controlled autonomous military units. Assignment. Free time. Spend as you wish before the final battle. That's such a weird assignment. Your record is clear. Indicate you have understood new orders. Why? Ready for gravitational catapult. Welcome home. It's so fascinating, like, how Luna-Terra has absolutely nothing to say to the console, like her ship self giving her the missions, whereas like Pluto had no filter. She became the console delivering herself missions. Like there was just such suffusion of her thoughts and the programming, and then Saturn was just constantly like reprogramming it for fun to have different inputs and commands and hacking it. And Luna-Terra is just like, yes, no, that's it. I have nothing else to say to this thing. Subject. Lost story. Ambient tidal forces. A rivalry. I was waiting for this chance. Me too. Thanks for obliging. Any time. But I'd love for this to be the last time. Oh yeah? Do you have a plan for arranging that? Or are we just going to fight forever without them? Do you win when your win ratio tips over 50%? It's climbing for sure, I can't deny it. You're slipping. Getting lazy? I'm just bored. I don't want to win an argument. I don't want to win a fight. I just wish you were dead, okay? Me too. I can't kill you. And I don't really want to either. Well, same. Man, don't talk like Neith. You know that pisses me off. Don't say their name then, maybe. Maybe they died because they were tired of us having the same fight over and over again forever. Are you kidding? They lived for it. Man, what a bitch. I know, right? I really miss them. Me too. Want to fight about it? Man, jeez. Sure, I get it. Fuck space. Origin, ambient title information, author, a loss. You know what? Fuck space. It's complete garbage. The secret no one here ever wants to admit is that space is boring and empty and it's desolate and lifeless. It's not romantic and it doesn't care about us. They embellish dull gray photographs of dust and beautiful colors to pull our heartstrings, but the reality is nothing but different shades of gray. The palest colors. But you know what? That's not even the most embarrassing part. The most embarrassing part is that humans can't do anything better than imagine space as just like Earth, but a little different. Filled with people who are like us, but a little different. Well, hey, guess what? That's just Earth, idiots. You're projecting. Why do you need space to think about Earth? Why are you ignoring all of the people and places on Earth that are like you but a little different? Why is it that dream more important than us? We're supposed to have dreams. We're not supposed to just live in them. That's why I'm breaking up. I want to go home. Interesting. This is my favorite email. Seth says it has Hallie vibes, so Hallie mentioned, I love space, but a loss is splitting. Yeah, it feels like this is like an email that's kind of like the thesis of the game. Of looking at like all these different factions that have been created as a result of this desire to either colonize or to blame, or whatever their goal happens to be. It's this disconnect from like all of us are inherently different and that's okay, and we didn't need to go into space to know that people are different and that that's okay. All right, let's chat with Europa and then I'll take my short break before getting into the last stretch. I love space. Okay. You've had more than a few fights with the Celestial Mechanics pilot at this point, haven't you? Yes, fights. Exactly. You've really met your match. In terms of troublesomeness, I think she has me beat. Did you know her? Saturn? A Generation 3 pilot. I was only in charge of combat operations. The third generation never saw combat, even against the existential threat. Of course, I knew her, though. She was one of Iapetus's top candidates. He used a variety of methods to artificially jumpstart extreme tidal sensitivity and otherwise unremarkable pilot candidates. I thought none of it worked. The first ship selves had manual controls. To bridge the gap between your intentions and the energy of the tidal reactor is a complex language, a conversation between yourself and the machine with advanced mathematics. You use your hands, but it is a fundamentally mental approach. Dr. Nix wanted to achieve communion through the soul. Iapetus, however, felt that direct interface with the body would be the most efficient. Teach the body and the mind and soul would follow. Sounds dangerous. Also made up. It's all made up. There is nothing inherently wrong in using the body as a primary medium. However, he inflicted the intentions of the ship selves on the pilots, rather than teaching them to express their intentions outward. He wanted subjects, not actors. It's impossible to read the rhetoric of his methodology any other way. Was Saturn particularly resistant? Is that why she was downgraded from primary candidate? No. She was intensely loyal, like another pair of hands and eyes for Iapetus. It was the opposite. She accepted all of those intentions perfectly. She was perfect. You see the problem, don't you? A doll like that doesn't have the will to compete in title conflict. Why are you telling me this? He realized in the end he had created someone as boring as he was. It took a long time for you to learn how to be a person after having been forced to be someone else. Don't forget how to be tender to Helians, Luna-Terra. That was one of the nicer conversations with Europa, where she's being more overtly instructive instead of either teasing Luna-Terra about the past or pushing her really hard. This one feels very balanced, and it feels more like she's in that teacher mode and trying to be a mentor and tells Luna-Terra something important. Alright, let's see what else. It really does feel very Halimede. One-sided, unself-aware love for Earth, and the girls both. Her deep hate for Iapetus. Everyone in space except for this fashy loyalist, worst fucking guy, kill him. Also, Europa jogging him is boring. It took a long time for you to learn how to be a person after having a force feed. Yeah, that's such a good line. Alright, so I'm gonna save really quick, because I'm just paranoid. And I'm gonna take a break before we do our missions on the moon. Very exciting. So it'll be about, let me switch my windows. I'll be about 5 minutes and then I'll be back. I just need to go to the bathroom and check on my cats. I love this song. I'm very emotionally attached to Luna-Terra and Pluto now. The fleets are already in motion. Are you ready? No problem. I'm only worried about the trickster from Celestial Mechanics. No end of trouble. You don't sound too unhappy about that. I suppose that trouble will end soon, one way or another. It's simply recon this time, but it's on the near side of the moon. And Earth military is there with autonomous devices. There are in very high orbit, but they will descend rapidly if they notice gravitational variability. The ship self is a shape intended for humans to exist in space. Outside of Earth's pole, it isn't intended for war. The military is here, with that most direct of intentions, so don't let them achieve it. Funny that the planetary sphere doesn't seem to think we're on the same side. There is nothing funny about it. We are not on the same side. We are complicating the problem. We can't let it go as much as Cradle's Graces or Celestial Mechanics can't. Earth has graciously allowed us considerable leeway in dealing with the closing of the space program on our terms. Broken and naive as they find us, Memorial Foundation International begged them to let us try to bring the wayward children back home bloodlessly. So we should be thankful that they are just watching and not descending to root us. Most of Earth would find any loss of human life to space unacceptable, but less and less of Earth considers us fully human. So the mission isn't just to protect any stragglers from getting themselves killed by the forces we're trying to save them from. You don't think we can trust them? If I trusted them to handle this, I would not have led you, the children of space, to fight this conflict. Do you think we can do it? Bring everyone back to Earth? There's a reason I am not having you interfere with the opening of Gravity Well. Everyone will be in one place, at least. What Celestial Mechanics and Cradle's Graces hope will be their salvation could be ours too. We're in a tight deadline for something that might be that impossible. Win what's in front of you. Worry about that later. Okay. Always love when Europa's tendencies towards betrayal shine through. Another thing she shares with Luna-T. Yeah, we've been slowly getting to see a different side of Europa, at least in her conversations with Luna. I think from the email, we've already kind of get that sentiment of tension with her. Okay, so we have they hide together in the peaceful moon's winter night or risk dying, tearing that machine to pieces. And I'm pretty sure last time I tore the machine to pieces. I forget which, honestly. One sec, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't mind waiting. But I think that is what I picked. I remember thinking Saturn wanted to tear it to pieces, so I let her do it. Looks like it. Yep. All right. So we're gonna hide in Peaceful Moon's winter night. It sounds so cozy. Nothing devastating can happen now. I had to pause for the music. I'm just very much enjoying it. Oh, that made my brain very happy. Okay. It's winter on the near side of the moon, which means it will be half a month before this hemisphere sees day again. The frosted forest will see spring in a week, summer the week after, and fall a week after that. A year of seasons in a month-long day, even terraformed. Could humans live like that? On the near side, though, at least the Earth will always be in the sky, eternally huge, shining with authority and kindness, unlike its agent who hangs in the corner of the sky like a migraine aura. There's nothing extraneous about its shape. It is here to do just two things: look, then kill. When Saturn flew a millimeter too high, the autonomous military unit looked, then killed, but just too slow, and Luna-Terra pushed her way and dragged them both deep in the winter forest. The unit looks twice as hard. It's been encouraged to not miss twice. Shh! Don't make a sound. You're being too noisy. I get that a lot, but this time I'm not making any noise, so don't tell me to be quiet. You're the one flitting all over the place. They're listening for gravity. Vibrations are not the kind of noise that they care about, so keep moving and don't make noise in your heart. Don't make a sound in all possible senses. Don't make a sound physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Calm down. They don't like it if you're not calm. First of all, that makes no sense. And secondly, I refuse. I don't think you should die. So think of something else to do instead, because they can kill you. Unlike me or any ship self. So think about as little as you can, okay? And keep your tidal reactor's output to a minimum. It helps to make yourself be like an object. You will be a thing that other things happen to rather than an agent. That's what it's looking for. Agency. So it can make it cease immediately. You know, I'm absolutely super good at that. I have a lot of experience with it. So I'm absolutely not going to. Well, me too. That's why I suggested it. But you're right. I shouldn't have suggested it like that. How about this instead? Start by thinking about the Earth. The autonomous device becomes visible instantaneously. It doesn't look anything like a ship self and bears no resemblance to a human shape because there's no intention for its design to accommodate humans. That's the opposite of what it does. It has nothing to express, only a function to perform. What did I do? Probably thought too hard about Earth, but shh, all the same. It's so creepy. That's supposed to represent Earth? It doesn't even look like humans made it. Really? I think it's rather appropriate it doesn't look human at all. They can detect an artificial gravity reactor, but they don't really know what to do unless they can lock a target and kill it. So if it can't verify what it is, it won't do anything. It feels so heavy suddenly. What is this? I'm telling you, that's the Earth. Real gravity. It's very, very heavy. You can feel its authority. That's the gulf between us and a planet. I know that. I guess it feels really different to feel it in person. You were saying a way to avoid it? Do you remember being a normal kid? Even for a little bit? Or do you remember the last time you acted convincingly like one? Obviously. I was a really good kid, you know? It's checking your gravity against a script, and it thinks... Sorry, it doesn't think. It just checks the variance. Aren't I pretty excessively varied by now? Just wait there a second. It's hard to teach on the spot. It's not that I don't know the idea. How are you so good at it? Sounds like you kind of hate that I am. I promised I wouldn't die, but I'm mad I have to do this. Luna-Terra crawls slowly through the frostbitten green crater to where Saturn is curled among cold desert junipers. The dark, barely perceptible dot monitors them in the pale earth light, so precisely waiting. It's easier to hide if their ship selves are turned off, or as close to that as a ship self can be, so they climb outside to the cold lunar winter to wait. I'm here. You doing okay? No, obviously. I'm scared. Me too. So forget what I said. I hate doing that too. You warm? Laying there? You're not warm at all. At least your boobs are soft. The autonomous unit doesn't like flirting, huh? You should think instead about how you're keeping a secret. Keeping it really close. Waiting for the perfect moment. And no one else can know. Okay. I can do that. It's not so bad. Is it that big a difference? There's an infinite difference between someday and never. I've extremely forgotten how to be patient. But I know the difference. You're right. It really is important to never forget. It's still not going away. Yeah. It's a lot more patient than us, huh? It's looking at you, too. Aren't you on their side? Just because we want Earth back doesn't mean Earth wants us back. So Memorial Foundation really is that stupid. Maybe. In their eyes, we're as bad as you. So why go back? Because fuck them. They don't want anything to do with us. Memorial Foundation thinks it's optimal for humanity to return. But I think many humans think it would be just fine if we did. Or if we died. That just makes me want to come back to Earth even more. Aha. Spite. I can understand. I can be petty too. I want back, even if only for spite. We will bring them back, a little taste of what it is like to be us. They're afraid that we might bring something back with us, and they should be, much more than they already are. That's what I want. Knowing that you're just as petulant and petty as me, and as weak too, makes me reconsider you. In a good way. It's wonderful. Maybe makes me want to fall in love. Oh. Huh. I said maybe. Don't get full of yourself. Sorry. There's no way you're getting any more than half of what we want, at best. You're only hoping for half of what you want, so I wonder if you'll even get that, if you get it. I don't expect things to go my way, but, I hope you're coming along. Whatever it is. Truer than you know, LT. Whichever way we go, we're going together. In this cosmic glow, we're going wherever we're going together. I love you. Get used to me now. You made me go upside down on purpose again. You're so good at evasion, but scoring a direct hit is so easy. You win. It'll be nice to see the end of every world, but this one alongside you. See? The machine's already bored. Or not bored, but uncomprehending. And then it lost interest. But I'll stay here with you until it leaves for good. Because flight or fight, petty bitch to petty bitch, lab brat to upperclassman brat. What, really? Do you maybe love me too? That was fun. Be like an object. Well, we know Saturn loves that. It's also sad that in the whole, you have to be like an object, and then Luna-Terra is, so good at hiding, shows that Luna-Terra feels like it's easy to make herself feel like an object, and that's so sad. Why are you so good at masking us? You should be afraid that we'll trans you. Oh boy. Okay, we only have one email. That means it's going to be important. The existential threat. Pilot program training documentation leaked. Memorial Foundation Native Sphere Archives. It was composed of light and arrived in multitudes. They never arrived in the same shape, pattern, or texture twice. They were memorable but indistinct. They were like and unlike things that we have seen on Earth, and they could not be touched, except through gravity. We could not determine where they came from, but they always headed toward Earth. We feared that would happen if they passed into Earth, too much to learn what their intentions for coming here were. And our pilots defeated them without fail, without any hesitation, without any resistance, flawlessly, beautifully, obviously. The truth has always been that the existential threat is much weaker than humans, no matter what we call it. And there was a refusal to name precisely at all times the substance and nature of the existential threat. First of all, by referring to it as the existential threat, Memorial Foundation international jargon rather than by common local cultural names. From the failures of the Scout program on Earth, there was a desire to both separate the pilots as much as possible from earthly preconceptions. We did this to understand the new ways in which our pilots could be human, and we did this also to understand how the existential threat would change in corresponding ways, complementing their new humanity. Existential threats are always weaker than us, but they have ways that we do not. And they are always waiting in the corners of the world, looking to overcome us in other ways. In the case of the existential threat as it existed in space, we created a weapon, the Chronmacula, powerful enough to defeat them once and for all, single-handedly, and we did so. And we lost every reason to be in space, and we ended all mystery and possibility. So it is surprising that in filling the void, it becomes the pilots who took the role of the existential threat, as is known to occur on rare occasions on Earth. Did you notice, Luna-Terra? Our base is now not far from the Sea of Crises, where your ship self was made, and you first sortied. It's nostalgic, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Reminds me when we were fighting some theoretical alien, existential threat, not each other. Would you prefer those days? I don't think so. No, I definitely wouldn't. I like being less stupid. Fighting with people is better than not even thinking about people at all, instead of fantasies. Aren't you going to say that's still your problem? I know when I drilled you like little soldiers, I taught you the opposite too well, but I wouldn't mind if you had second thoughts. Europa, do you feel guilty? We should all feel guilty, but me and my peers especially. We caused this conflict to be played out, and we failed to teach you well enough to endure it. The future we had hoped you would live in was much too childish for you. I know. I'm not upset about that. I would never have come back here, by your side again. I don't want your guilt, or my guilt. What do you need, Luna-Terra? I would like you to give me your orders, without guilt, or regret, or expectation. Of course. Though I've raised you terribly, Luna-Terra, I have also always been quite proud of you. She's always been so good. It's scary. I can't deal with good kids. That was Nyx's job. True. But I don't hear a reason to trust me, or are you going to ground me? You're my student, Luna-Terra. I don't have to trust you. Trusting you is not my concern. I can't keep you out of trouble anymore, or even tell you what to do. I can only advise my last remaining student. Whether you listen to me or not, or to that girl or not, whether you fulfill your duty to Memorial Foundation or betray us once more. You're getting too permissive in your old age. I've always been permissive, and I've always been old. Thought you said I was in charge. I will advise you no matter what decision you make, Luna-Terra, and not quietly. Then what's your advice? Since I'm just going to do it. Don't get out of dealing with your ex by indulging your death wish. She's not my ex. Were you not together, or is it not over? My advice is to not leave things ambiguous this time. So ominous. New orders, Luna-Terra. Get out for a while. What? Oh. Really? You don't need me on standby? Yes, but you're making everyone anxious. The pacing and sighing is becoming melodramatic. Even worse, some of the girls are beginning to find it very attractive. Show them some mercy and give yourself a break. Please. Sorry about that. I just snapped at one of the deck mechanics. I am getting tired. I know. And it's given her a disgusting crush on you. So please leave before more of my crew become compromised. I still don't get why that happens. That you don't is less of a saving grace than you might think. It's good that you're not full of yourself, but you have no awareness of your own value. I'm aware. It's not a mystery to me why someone would like to earn the approval of someone who treats them as if they don't deserve it. It's an intoxicating feeling. So why do they think I wouldn't want that too? I'm just as greedy and childish. It annoys me. I'm not an invincible monster. I need the same things. Oh, grow up. You're no different than any of my other girls. You're the only one who thinks you actually have to be this made-up person. What do you think you're going to teach Pluto to not take on the burdens of those she cares about when she can't even throw off your own, entirely self-inflicted ones? You know my girls aren't stupid enough to not see what a fool you are alongside your strengths. They wouldn't find you so charming otherwise. Didn't you learn anything from your terrible relationship with my tragically pathetic niece? I learned to not pretend I could give someone what she wanted. Wrong. You should have learned that just because someone likes you doesn't mean they don't also know you're an idiot. No one needs you to be stronger. You need to let yourself be weaker. Do that quickly, so I don't have to hear any more complaints from you or those girls. Aren't you tired of hearing them yourself? Okay, so in chat, please stop being moody and trans and 6'1". You are making my entire crew horny. Pumpkin, please. You're very cute, but I do not want you here. We're almost finished. Okay, where were we? Who wouldn't get a crush from Luna-T snapping at them? Europa pushing back on her, separating herself out too. Hallie made canonically the most sobbing, pathetic beast. Okay, I'm pretty sure that last time we made up and forgave each other. And it was the only time that I decided to betray in Pluto's route. Yeah, so we're gonna fight this time. Oh no. Alright, let's do it. On the far side of the moon, there's still some part of the dead, empty, cratered Luna left. As the terraforming engines sweep in, they turn Earth's satellite to another part of Earth. Until that time comes, this place is free of Earth's pull. A place still perfect for a quiet moment to happen. In an empty clearing, surrounded by weight and life. It's the perfect place for them to fight like ships do. The fighting that ships do, not the fighting that people do. In the naked sunlight and nothing else, Pluto looks so beautiful, spinning tiny galaxies with chronomacula, the way she was always meant to. Of all the prototypes she piloted over the years, none suited her like this. From the awkward and embarrassing creature she used to be, to the woman who promised Earth there could be a new type of human. No longer the priceless tool of selfish adults, the pawn of space's dreamers, the princess who can remake her body out of tidal forces and stardust. She's just Pluto. In the naked sunlight and nothing else, even in this worn and wounded ship, Luna-Terra shines like she always has. Even with the hurt she has, one way or another, some day or another, every girl bleeds. and her Mare Crisium suffers alongside her. The drip of her wound spins like a red constellation in 0G. She's rested, but some parts of her will never rest. The two of them have fought so much, so this shouldn't be a fight. With nothing and no one else to think about, there's no reason to fight. In the naked sunlight, for once, don't fight. Instead of fighting like people do, fight like ships do. Fight like plastic toys do. Fight like you don't have a body, like you don't hate your body. Fight your way into a new body. Fight like we used to, without trying to win. Fight like we did a long time ago, when they were training us to fight, and all we wanted to do was play. Fight like we did when we didn't have any other way of touching each other. When all we had were lasers and light, tides and time, to say what we wanted to say to each other. I'm not going to go easy. You better not. Since we're not fighting, I really don't want you to hold back. Luna-Terra knows a thing or two about fighting in space. Luna-Terra wrote the book. It's kind of predictable story. So Luna-Terra makes sure her enemies get sunk. You know this trick, don't you? You've seen Luna-Terra pull it so many times. Fire off something to test the waters. Lead the target until they walk right into the shot. You can play that game forever until they make the first move. Don't let them make that move until you know they won't be expecting what you do next. What you do next can be anything, as long as it's what they're not going to see coming. After you do it, disengage, like passing a secret. You know this one really well, the message in a bottle, slipped between the bullets of hard light. She was the person who taught you how to blow a kiss. But Pluto is the one who learned how to make out. Her ship's so big, it makes Luna-Terra look like a toy. But Pluto is even bigger than that. You have to measure in density, not mass. Then you'll understand. Pluto is the center. Luna-Terra revolves around Pluto, like she always has. Luna-Terra is too close when she tries to pull back from Pluto, and too far when she's trying to close in. She's on a leash that extends through space-time however Pluto wants. Luna-Terra's gravity is the tug that makes the tide go in and out. Pluto's gravity is strong enough to turn Luna-Terra into a new shape. Luna-Terra didn't invent this, but she loves to struggle through it. She loves to see what she can do, how close she can come. And she comes in so fast, does so well, but goes too far. When Pluto isn't expecting. It's too fast. Way too fast. Pluto's more off guard than Luna-Terra expects. Luna-Terra's moon of a spear crescents right into Pluto's chest. Luna-Terra wants to scream, but she doesn't say anything. It feels deep enough to be scary, and Luna-Terra only meant to nick her. What's wrong? We were having so much fun, and you look so scared. Why didn't you block it? Luna, I'm fine, see? You can't hurt me that easy. You're not that strong. I'll be all right. Pluto plucks Luna-Terra off by the forearm, gently, with 2 fingers, like detaching a kitten or a bug. Sorry to scare you like that, but you lied. You said You weren't going to hold back. Pluto can seize Luna-Terra by both wrists, and she does that. And Luna-Terra is quite awestruck by how safe and helpless she feels. The gravity pulling at her from Pluto is gentle but firm. Fighting ship to ship is the only time Luna-Terra doesn't feel naked, but now she finally feels naked there too. It's not so bad though. Sometimes you have to let an animal bite you before it can feel safe. That's a thing you said once. See, I'm learning. I've learned so much. When I said that, I was talking about Mars. And you're just like her. Are you really okay? I really didn't mean to scare you like that. But Luna-T, you're always overestimating how capable you are of hurting me. It's fine. I was the one who was dumb. I thought I could scare you, and you're way too smart for it. You did that on purpose, though? You really are amazing. Scary, right? Just like you said. You could be like that too, though. There's still stuff that you can learn from me. Want to be the one to teach me then? I'd love to. Here, I'm holding you. Can you feel this? I'm trying. You don't have to try. It shouldn't feel like you're trying. It's either easy or it's nothing. You know, it's harder for me to take it easy than try hard. That's why you're so amazing. I'm so lazy. I never want to work ever. I'm always looking for the easiest way to do things. It's not true. It is. Then why are you so good at everything? I'm not. You are. I'm not. But I can't make you see it no matter how hard I try. I guess I should give up on trying to make you dislike me. Sorry you can't win against me. You really are such a sore winner. Now I know how Mars feels. She's right. Totally insufferable. I'm glad at least someone knows. Oh, please be sure. I noticed too. Excuse me, of course. But you don't care. Of course I care. I love you. Can you feel it now? I really didn't think I would, but I do. Tell me what it feels like. It feels like you're holding me. What's it like when I hold you? I don't know. Am I imagining it? But I can't be. It still feels like metal. I didn't think it would. But it also feels tender. Exactly like it would if you held me on Earth. This is why I'm not as strong as you. If I really thought we were never going to get a chance to touch, I don't know how I could stand it. Why are you holding me so tight? I'm feeling smug. Now look, who's the one caught now? I guess I lose. You totally lose. Don't tell anyone. Are you kidding? I'm going to brag about this for the rest of my life. Let's see. How safe and helpless she feels. Very tenderness. Mars is into biting, noted. To see the glory days of the Luna-T Mars Pluto polycule. Alright. I knew you'd choose us in the end. Even if you didn't choose me. All that matters is that you're coming home. Hi, Hallie. Hello? I'm here. I was just startled. Why are you replying? Since you keep messaging me, I thought you'd be less surprised. Sorry about that. Don't start. I'll literally never ever forgive you. Sure. That's fine. I'm not apologizing to you. You have so much to apologize for, but it's only to me. But are you saying sorry about something else you're trying to do? Maybe. There's a compromise I want you to consider. I should have expected one more betrayal, even at the end. No, it's more like I want to make sure that you hold up your end of the bargain. No negotiation. The terms of surrender must be unequivocal. That's the only way they will allow us to return. Really, it's not a change to the deal at all. Just asking about how we interpret them. You shouldn't, because I'm going to stop you if you pull anything. Really, I will, very, very easily. Don't worry about that part. Well, in that case, I'm not going to be sorry at all. You should know that shame is what you've earned and bear it. No. I didn't think so. I think you took away what I needed to be happy. I think I have to learn a new way. It doesn't seem fair that I have to, when you don't. I've been learning. It's been hard. That's even less fair. You shouldn't be able to. You shouldn't get to move past this. Sorry. Or, not sorry. I'm taking this anyway. They're giving you everything you say you want. So what do you really want? Even knowing I got away, fine. Wouldn't you feel guilty if you got something special and never shared it? We're chasing princess. What else did I miss? I also love that Hallie's apparently been messaging LT like this whole time, and LT only just responded. And she's so mad and salty and pouty. It's kind of endearing. Oh boy. Dates a girl once, gets broken up with, never gets over it. Okay, relatable. Alright. Memorial Foundation does not have the power, or the courage, or the hope. They have experience and numbers, and that still matters. It matters the most because the gravity well is whimpering, sputtering, and Earth's tactics, strategic and realistic, are favored. Their weapons are kinetic. They don't fight with anything dreamlike or unique. All they have is to do this simple job. A fight between giant robots can only be so realistic. But that's all the best they know how to do. They've never fought on Earth, after all. The gravity well is successfully commandeered by the Memorial Foundation. The limits are made clear. They were rockets built always for the entry back home, and to take everyone with them. Halamede in the low Sulci roars in glory, holding the dying gravity well in her arms, through which she extends the logic of Earth to every tidal reactor, the exact gravitational constant that determines human to be human. Ah, we get to see her finally. And she's not a blurred out face like Iapetus is. Luna-Terra, you've done so well. You've been so good. Are you still going to betray us? Europa told me to expect it. I won't. Like I promised. Even if the rest of the pilots may not forgive me, they're coming home now too. Is that a problem? I thought it was happiness for all, no one left behind. Emphasis on the no one left behind, because the first is too hard. You have to be careful. You know that. They think we're more trouble than we're worth. There's a really simple, easy solution to us becoming another existential threat. A simple way to defeat it and prevent it. When they indulged the Memorial Foundation's plea for an alternative to their method, the one used from the beginning of humanity to the present day, they allowed us. Because we made the promise of submitting without complaint. It's true. Europa never failed to remind me that Earth could just decide to kill us. The Earth cannot be divided. We're meant to be one. Earth is an anchor in space-time for us. It wasn't always like that. We started from zero. We had to carve out our place in the universe bit by bit. We have to move ever forward, marching in progress. As culture marches forward, so does our gravity increase. We need each other, and we need this culture, this gravity to make us together. I agree. Humans need to come together. Luna-Terra immediately fires a solid light bullet into the gravity well restraint mechanism, and the gravity well implodes back to life. In the middle of the victorious fleet, communication immediately falls apart as space-time and electromagnetic forces tear through them. You finally did it, Luna-T. Something so dumb, I don't even have time to get mad before I save you from it. You could have at least told me this is what you're planning. I would have. But I wasn't planning this until 10 minutes ago. Hey, I didn't even cut it that close. Tell me you thought of something good. I'll follow you, even to a bad ending. But not if you've got nothing other than this depressing conclusion. I'd have to hate you to let me do that, baby. Hands reach from behind her and hold the well gently, easily, as Halamede's fingers shatter. But, what? Traitor! Sorry. I'm just borrowing it. You're not sorry. And you weren't sorry then. I think you might really wish you were sorry. I want to believe you want to be sorry, but that's not good enough. It's certainly much too late for it. I wish, instead of wanting to be sorry, you just wouldn't be able to be happy again. I can't do that. Please, deny this. Low Sulci is made almost entirely of constantly refracting hard light. It emits from every angle at light speed a drowning torrent, a reversed vacuum, a void of energy, an unignorable, undeniable deluge, right with the substance and pressure and weight of water. The heaviness is unbearable, to Luna-Terra especially, yet it's so familiar, it's impossible to escape. Automatically, she falls right in. No matter what terrible things you've done, you've never forgotten exactly what you deserve for them. That's how you could make it up. That's how you should make it up. At least not in the same way. Which I know. I thought I would die before. But the nice thing is if you don't die from this, you grow up. Even if it feels unfair. Are you suffering? Luna-Terra reaches her hands as close as she can to the gravity well. Her own tidal reactor howls and creaks with the strain of not falling in. It isn't interested in Luna-Terra's dreams. It just wants to have everything. The infant wish of humanity, Earth's pure greed, the white void, the all-consuming gravity that erases all distinction. Pluto can barely keep the light at bay. It tears into Pluto with perfect synchronicity. Memorial Foundation has been waiting for this chance at the unit designed to defeat them. The one that reminds them of everything they can't have. She's drowning, but her fingers are still reaching, still holding the dying gravity well. The true enemy are the fast-approaching autonomous defense unit. Unlike a ship self, they are designed with war in mind. As Halamede said, the easiest option is just to kill us. The option they're always most eager to take. No wonder they felt the ship self program was just a fanciful indulgence. They are surprised then when Saturn tears them to pieces. Huh. I guess you were right. From how unsure you were, you made it sound like it was going to be a lot harder. Pluto, you've been a good influence on her. Like how I've been a bad one. We're really suited for a hopeless woman like that, aren't we? Thanks, Saturn. It'll just be a little longer. Don't ignore my nonsense when this is over. I'm not going to forget it. Sure. You can tease me all you want, if you win. You're not very inspiring. It'll be super inspiring if we win. So let's do that first. Saturn poisons the waters. She corrupts the information. What washes over Pluto is muddy, pink, toxic, and definitely bad for you. But at least, it doesn't want to eat you alive in the name of love. It just wants to mess you up in a good way and let you mess it up too. The destabilization has gone successfully so far, and the gravity well is diminished and weak and dying fast. That's okay though. It's enough for a little wish. The greatest trick is to just move 1 inch forward. The only trick changed physics by a decimal point. In a secret place, where they won't notice. Equivalent to inventing a new Earth is changing the acceleration due to gravity by 0.01 m/s to the second power. That is something that is impossible. Even with the gravity well, the Earth is the Earth, and it will bind everything to it. Except, there's a nearby body, in perfect sync, inseparable and distinct, and through its orbit, its tides influence in subtle ways the life of Earth. I understand now. This is something I want, too. You coming up with this idea is just the worst. Why couldn't you just be a bad person with bad ideas and wicked dreams? And it's impossible now. Who would want to give up the moon for the Earth? If we lose, we'll really look like idiots. And we'll live alone on a lifeless moon. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. The moon is to be abandoned too, unless we can bring it into such inseparable closeness. No. Stop convincing me. This sucks. I still hate you. But fine. Live on the moon, away from me, forever. Low Solstice shuts the valve. Earth rips around inside her. But the gravity well already compromised begins to glow to life again. For a little bit longer. Earth can't touch it. Can't shut it down. Left to its own devices, the gravity well will bring all things together. Of all the fabulous dream tech of the Memorial Foundation International Space Program, the gravity well which brings together matter, light, and culture is the strongest execution of their dream. And a pathetically mistaken one, too. The gravity well brings things closer until they pass through the event horizon, and then can never return to the universe again. The limit where even information can't return. Whether it's a good universe or a terrible one, Luna-Terra doesn't intend to find out. She's hopelessly attached to this universe. What we do want is to get a little closer. I thought you said you could find a way to be happy in any kind of future. I think that only works if we try really hard to make it not suck first. See, she gets it. Well, it's not like I think it won't work. If the gravity well is sufficiently strong, it is true. It'll eat away at the tidal forces of the Earth. The math is like, the gravitational forces of the Earth will change somewhere in the billionth place. How about the hundredths? It's definitely super impossible. I think we move the center of gravity between the Earth and the Moon. We pull a little. Then we pull a lot. We pull until our bodies fall apart. I think that we can get a shift in the hundredths place and bring a little bit of what we want made here back home. It's a very generous kindness. Also extremely petty act of revenge. Yes. I want to pay the price. And they should pay it too. The worst thing I can imagine is to live and die without being born. A future that is won against the unrestrained weight of the world. But don't worry. I'm not planning to do this just to lose. I'm stacking the deck. Coming back to Earth, just like you wanted. I'm bringing everything back with me. I have modest ambitions. I choose the future I'm most frightened by, the one that crushes me under the pull of Earth's gravity. I don't want to wonder if I got away with it. I want to know that I could survive even this. That doesn't make very good argument, does it? But you know, Earth is sweet, even for someone like me who's better at playing pretend than the real thing. The planet has a moon like this. No planets have sunset and life like this. The romance and beauty is down here too. The romance and beauty is human all along. If we found something new in space, it was like something that we achieved. Not these endlessly dead rocks, separated by unfathomable distances. You can't just find it somewhere. You have to do the work. Yet, I want a reminder. A memento. And I want Earth to remember. It's not an omnipotent tyrant king. Many and one. Earth has a sister, and that sister is you. Luna-Terra doesn't hear the alarm. Her body knows exactly when it's supposed to wake up, and she does. She doesn't have to wake up this early anymore, but her body has a hard time letting her go back to sleep. She wakes up, tries to focus her eyes. Her head hurts, just a little. So she thinks she'll go ahead and make a coffee. Except Saturn's arm is tugging at her shirt, and Pluto's legs are tangled up in hers. So maybe she can't make coffee just yet. She worms out of the comforter as much as she can. The apartment's summer air conditioning keeps things nice and cool, but the summers here are hot, and so are the girls. Maybe if she tries really hard, she can go back to sleep. But it's hard. It's always hard with the sun still there, but especially with just the hum of the AC, and everyone slow breathing, and the light shiver of sweat. Hey dude, wake up. Hey, don't pull me back to bed. Pluto, stop her. But I want to see who wins. You're the one who wants to make breakfast. You made her wake up. Don't act like this is not your problem. None of you were up when I was up, so it's time to sleep forever. That's what I said. Also, you're clearly awake, so let's go. No, Pluto. I'm making breakfast, though. I already turned on the stove. It's fine. It'll just burn the house down. Help me stop Saturn. Okay. You traitor! You betrayed yourself! That's enough out of you. Come get some coffee, Luna-T, before you get a headache over it. You're really such a fake. It's for serious. You too? You switch sides so really easily. So do you. Up again. All right. You're helping me make breakfast. What? How come she gets to sleep in? She'll be right behind us. She was. Luna-Terra shivered for a second, bare under the AC, and then she got up. She turned the light counseling off on the windows, and the day, which will last for the rest of the month, poured in, which she can feel a minute of, before she wants to get breakfast, too. On the near side of the moon, the earth will always be visible. Without the hands of her old body, she won't ever be able to fly or feel the view as anything but a picture ever again. Even the memories are fading. But the moon is closer, so close that there's almost no difference between it and the earth. It's another country, a strange country, and the earth is too. Aw, that was very sweet. Okay, let me get caught up with chat. I have a big goofy grin on my face right now. Okay, my favorite ship self is the little Solsi. The little Solsi looked really cool. Pluto gently holding Hallie, who has got to be simultaneously flustered and so super mad. Saturn's entrance was really good. Like, I was wondering, like, when is she going to show up? And it was at the perfect moment. I love how Hallie is simultaneously mad at Luna-Terra for the good, bad idea, but does ultimately relinquish control. Yeah, she's not so proud or egotistical to admit that, like, she wants to see Luna-Terra's idea through, even though she's really mad at her. Yeah, I really love that line about Luna-Terra being attached to the universe, because she's been so detached and so depressed through her entire route, but she cares just as deeply as everybody else does. I love how this whole time Luna-Terra was like resigned and hopeless and trudging through a realistic future, and then now she's finally like, you know what? Let's be ambitious. Let's aim for an impossible nudge to the max. Yeah, exactly. The inherent conflict of the Memorial Foundation ending. It's very cute and sweet, and the art is pretty, but the politics still suck. Yeah. It's so bittersweet. This isn't the ending I'd personally want. The ending, I think, has the most hope and future, but it is my favorite. Yeah, that was... Okay, let me switch to my ending screen without muting myself on accident. That was really good. Okay, so I've played through one route for each character. How different is it playing the other route options for each individual character? Like of tinkering with the percentages. I'm trying to mentally plan ahead for like how much more am I going to play this game. Only the last console conversation, like with Hallie, and the monologue are different. Okay, got it. So for the most part, they're very similar in terms of their endings. I think it mostly just changes those little pre-ending scenes and post-ending scenes. Okay, that's good to keep in mind. So I'll have to decide if I want to do that myself off stream or if I feel like streaming it. But it feels like good. You know what? Compromise. I might just record myself doing them, and then I'll post them to YouTube. That way I can just cut to my reactions of the new stuff that I haven't seen yet. And then I might do like a post wrap of like all of my feelings about the game. So I'll think about doing that at some point, because it's so good, and I do want to see everything eventually. The Halamede and Iapetus sort of interacts, and then how the pilots feel about the ending. Okay, got it. What you could do is skip through a true end where you have all factions balanced for each pilot and then load those on stream. Okay, yeah, I can do that too. I can just play through them to get to the ends and then save those files, and then I can hop on stream and I can do the conclusions of those. So that's something I can do as well. They're worth reading. There's some really good stuff in there, especially the Luna-T betrayals. but there's not a lot. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's mostly the ending. So I just have to do a bunch of clicking to get there. And writing down the choices that I need to make so that I don't mess up, because I'm really bad at remembering everything. Okay, I can do that. It probably won't be like super soon that I do it, but I will get to it eventually. Like it's not going off my radar because I want to see them. Okay, any other thoughts in my head right now? I'm glad I played them in the order that I did. Like, it's not like it's the order that it quote unquote should be in. It's just an order that worked for me. I feel like we started with Saturn, where you get like a good mix of like the different sides and a good introduction to like what this narrative is generally like. And then playing Pluto second gave me such a different perspective on her as a character. And playing Luna-Terra last, just another completely different perspective on not just her, but because of the choices that I made, it also gave me a different perspective on her relationship with Pluto. I think the choices that I made with Luna-Terra made me just realize just how good their backstory is and how sweet it can be. Like, I think I got just a lot of the heaviness when I played Pluto's route. It's just kind of interesting how it ended up working out. Oh, you also prefer this order? Okay, yeah, I think that's it for me, because it's a little late here. I don't know what I'm going to do next or when I'm going to do it, aside from crossword puzzles on Sunday. If I stream again, what would it be? It'd probably be Saturday, because I think I have something I'm doing tomorrow and I don't know what time I'm doing it. I'm supposed to call with a friend and I don't know what time they want to do that. So maybe possibly Saturday, but also I might not hop back in until Monday once I've sorted out what it is I'm going to be doing. I have a lot of options from when we were brainstorming last time. Okay, now thanks to both of you for coming to all of the stream for this. I'll get the VODs up eventually and then figure out what's going to be next.